With less than a week left in the regular season, the Calgary Flames are still fighting for a playoff berth. Jess Belmosto of Locked On Flames joins us to discuss their keys to success and the big picture of this franchise coming up next on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you get new episodes as soon as they drop. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Flames, Jess Belmosto. And Jess, less than a week left in the season, and the Flames are still fighting for one of those wild card spots. Talk to me about the resilience and determination of this team.
It really feels like they have just fully embodied this underdog, we're not going down without a fight mentality. And I think that that's always been part of the Flames character as an organization. And I think that, they came into the season projected to be a bottom 5 team by everyone. No one expected them to be a sleeper playoff team. So for them to still be playing meaningful hockey last week in the season, I think fuels them. I think that they run on a little bit of spite and just determination in proving everyone wrong.
Gotta ask about Dustin Wolf and what he's meant to this team this year. I get the feeling he's not going to win the Calder, but he should at least be a finalist. For people who don't watch a lot of Calgary Flames games, talk to me about his impact.
So without Dustin Wolf, the Flames would absolutely be a bottom 5 team. He has kept them in it and really dragged this team to this point in the season. Just phenomenal rookie goaltender who has the pedigree that really anyone would want in a goaltender. So the Flames got really lucky there. And just the athleticism, the focus, the emotional and mental maturity, I think for a 23, 24-year-old is phenomenal, and just something that Flames fans and really hockey fans should really be on the lookout for. People outside of Calgary have said that he's got the likings of Connor Hellebuck, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, not bad company. And he seems to just show unbelievable poise for a rookie, especially.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, because I would probably smack my teammates with the stick when they let up goals and just don't play defense. But he's really good kid.
A lot of people know about players like Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar. Talk to me about a player who doesn't make headlines, but who has been a big part of the success of the Calgary Flames this year.
I would say Connor Zary and Matt Coronado. Connor Zary is likely missing the rest of the season due to an injury, but has been a fantastic net front presence, great goal scorer, has the energy that the lineup needs. Matt Coronado, he came into the season being the 13th forward, and then they sent him down to the Wranglers, and no one was happy about that. His agent was tweeting about it, saying this is ridiculous, which everyone understood. And then they called him back up, and he has stayed through the whole season pretty much. It's been just consistent goal scoring. His skating has gotten a lot better, a lot of clutch goals. And even when he's not scoring, his shots on net are still good shots. They're not just lazy. He has a great release, a great aim. And I think that if all things go right, he's one of the players the Flames should be building around.
Well, that's an impressive arc for one season, no question about that. Right now, 3 games left on the schedule. What are the keys to the Flames having a chance of pulling off this upset and getting into the playoffs this year?
Not getting too comfortable. Honestly, I think that the game against the Ducks and the game against the Wild were both fine examples of that. They blew a 3-1 lead to the Ducks, and then against the Wild, they had a 4-goal lead going into the third period, and they kind of took their foot off the gas and allowed 2 goals. And it got a little scary there in the final minutes, but they have to play every shift like it is the final shift of a game 7. Otherwise, they're just gonna coast, and that's not going to do them any good.
Do the Flames have to make the playoffs for this to be considered a successful season, or have they so far exceeded expectations that it's already been a success?
I think that making the playoffs was a wild shot in the dark to begin with. So I think that really just finishing the season in general would be a success. The fact that this was supposed to be a rebuilding year and Dustin Wolf kind of didn't get the memo for that one. But I think that really anything that they did was going to be a success, because if you look at it in terms of the rebuild, okay, great, you didn't play good hockey, so you're a draft lottery team. This is where you wanted to be. But you went out, you made some trades, you switched up your goaltender from last year, and maybe the rebuild can be moved a little faster. We're a little ahead of schedule. Although I do think they need to take off the rose-colored glasses this offseason and remember what we're fighting for and what we're trying to get away from.
So you mentioned the offseason. What is the next step to make this team, instead of a Cinderella story, a team that is expected to win more next year?
I think that they're going to have to really take a look at the draft and hit it out of the park again like they did last year. I think that's going to be a lot harder because they don't have that top 10 draft pick. Last year, they were able to get Zane Parekh at 9, which was huge. And, everyone was really excited to hopefully have that happen again this year. So I guess not signing any ridiculous free agent contracts either. They were able to avoid any long-term deals last July. So I'm hoping that they still have the vision in mind and maybe are able to go out and trade for a center that, fits that 23 to 25 age group that they're looking for.
How do you increase goal scoring? Because that statistically has been an issue all season.
You fire Ryan Huska and get an offensive-minded coach behind the bench. Huska seems like a great guy. He's done well for what he's had to work with, but there has to be some sort of adjustment. And I'm not sure if things are so defensively oriented because of the amount of change there was on the back end, and they needed to really focus on making up for the departures of, Noah Hannafin, Chris Tanev, but they have to figure something out.
And you think they can do that without undermining Dustin Wolf?
I think so. I think that, there's enough talented veterans on this roster to guide them to that, I would say. And also, if you get a full season of Connor Zary and Matt Coronado again, you're going to see more, definitely a lot more offense.
Jess, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can listen to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And you can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Jess Belmosto.
Jess, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That is wonderfulpistachios.com.